There are a few things more important to a character than their visual design. While their personality, story, and overall writing are also critically important, yes, their design is more often than not your first impression, rather than a big block of fun facts or a short story. If you look at good gacha games, where their appeal revolves entirely around collectible little fellas, character designs are given the majority of the focus 99.9% of the time. This is also the same importance put behind cosmetic skins. They don't sell if the design is bad. This isn't to imply your OC needs to be marketable, unless that's what you're going for. This is just a heavy emphasis on how important visual design really is. One great example of this is the anime main character meme. The joke makes fun of the constant use of black-haired and bland main characters meant for the audience to project onto, a design trope popularized by Kirito of Sword Art Online. They lack personality both in their visual design and their writing, making them blend together. You could show me any of these men, and I would not be able to discern them, even if you were threatening to rip all my brain children from my wretched ghoul hands. Let's compare that with a main character design plenty of people can recognize. One Piece's Monkey D. Luffy. We'll be using his post-time skip design for this. Luffy has black hair like the previously shown bland main characters, but he's easily distinguishable from them. Let's observe why this is. Most of the previously shown characters have muted and gray or black clothing, while Luffy sports his bright red, yellow, and blue. Many of them also lack distinctive features and have the same facial proportions. He also has his iconic straw hat, the scar under his eye, and the X scar across his chest. His fists are much larger than they normally would be on a human, and he almost always has a giant smile on his face. These are all visually distinctive design notes that identify him as Monkey D. Luffy. If I showed you his silhouette, you'd recognize him right away. In comparison, I'll pick a random character out of our generic main character list. See if you can guess which one he is. You don't even need to know their names, just pick one of the images in your head. Ready? Most likely you didn't get it right, or you did, and it was an accident. Or you have a seriously good and particularly niche memory. But you're the exception, and not the rule. Take your gold star and sit down. The purpose of this comparison was to demonstrate the three key elements of character design. 1. Silhouette, which is making sure the character has a recognizable and distinct silhouette. Using shape language effectively is an important part of making silhouettes distinct. 2. Palette. Giving the character a distinct color palette that makes them interesting to look at and visually distinct from other characters. For palettes, it's generally recommended to have one primary color, then make the other colors support that primary one rather than clash with it. 3. Exaggeration. Exaggerating certain parts of the character to elevate their concept, presence, or the emotions they inspire. The most important part of character design. In art styles where you might not play with or exaggerate anatomy, such as the ever-popular anime style, this can still be found in things like accessories, animal features, facial expressions, or colors. Now, all those concepts are the basis for any character design, but RWBY is special in this regard. There's a certain set of creative challenges set in place by Monty and the characters we see as the show. Monty's color naming rule sheet is practically the OC naming Bible. Some may see this as limiting, but I see it as a helpful guideline. Let's run through making a character together to go over how exactly we make our RWBY OC. Every character in RWBY has an allusion. This means that they're themed around a notable figure. This figure can be a fairy tale story such as Ruby Rose, a historical figure such as John Arc, a mythological figure such as Sun Wukong, or memes, I guess, screw it. So we'll pick our allusion first, and base our character around that. For our allusion, let's pick Hermes from Greek mythology. What character traits can we pull from this allusion to help us theme our visual design? Hermes is very commonly depicted with wings somewhere on him, most commonly on his heels, his caduceus staff, or on a helmet he wears. Let's take this trait to make our character some kind of bird faunus. After a quick Google search, we can find a list of Greek birds and pick one. Let's go with the golden eagle, since they're fast, just like our messenger god. Other traits I'll be pulling from Hermes is his role as a messenger of the gods. We'll make our faunus a mail carrier. Additionally, Hermes is described as very mischievous, so let's give our messenger a more rambunctious look to them. Uneven clothing, band-aids, and an expression that lets you know they're up to no good. To push our Hermes illusion even further, let's make the clip on their letter bag a caduceus shape. Remember, we need good shape language and a good silhouette. Exaggerate where you can. A short, spiky hairstyle or a ponytail will give the impression of a sporty type. The shape of the character's eyes can denote their personality, so we'll give them pointy eyes that are flat on the bottom. Sort of fox-like, to give them a permanent air of mischief. Now, we get to something that's dually important, both to their name and their palette. What is our mail carrier's primary color? For a lot of Greek gods, what colors they're actually associated with can vary a lot, and plenty of that information comes from more untrustworthy sources. This is only a problem if you're concerned with faithfulness to the illusion, but we're gonna play it safe. Just using a color associated with them doesn't work as easily as it does for an illusion like Little Red Riding Hood or Goldilocks. What can we do to narrow down a primary color? Taking inspiration from other interpretations might help you here. Let's turn to a game with excellent character design that features Greek gods, Supergiant's Hades. In this game, Hermes is featured with a very strong and bright orange that mixes with red to give him a fiery look. Let's use this color palette as inspiration for our own. We'll make our character's primary color orange and choose a name that reflects that. Looking up shades for a color is my usual go-to. Orange gives us a few cute names to pick from, like pumpkin, peach, and saffron. If you don't want a cutesy name, another way is to find some names related to the color. For this, I use relatedwords.io. You have to dig a little bit, but there's names here like amber, ochre, and clementine. If you want a more elegant name, you can look up orange flowers. Using this method, I found names like lantana, maple, and marigold. There's dozens of other methods to make names, and of course find your own, but these are my main ones. For our messenger eagle, I'll name them Maple Marigold. Combining two of the names we found can be a fun way to get around coming up with the last name. Let's reflect this name by giving their primary orange color some warm brown and red supporting colors. And we're done making a basic character design. There are further elements to develop still, like weapons, background, and semblance. While background isn't going to be covered here, we'll briefly go over weapons and semblance design, as these are integral to any RWBY OC. A weapon does not have to have multiple forms, but it's encouraged for it to at least be multi-purpose and/or mecha shift in some way. You can integrate a gun into the handle of a weapon like RWBY's, blade the sides of a guitar, or have your sword shift into a completely different weapon like Crow's. For our example character, Maple Marigold is a messenger. This doesn't exclude them from also being a huntsman, of course. The roads are dangerous. Using our Hermes inspiration, we'll give them a caduceus staff-inspired weapon. Personally, the wings at the top spanning out like that remind me of a hammer, so we'll give them a large hammer that has a caduceus design on it. What can we have this mecha shift into that would benefit a messenger? Perhaps an axe to cut through foliage, or a lantern to light dark paths. Try to think of some more alternate forms on your own. Next, we need to think about the semblance. With our Hermes illusion, it's easy enough to just give them super speed, but that might overlap with Ruby and Harriet too much. If you don't mind this, then you're done. If you do, then let's keep thinking about it. Perhaps we can give them a semblance with a different inspiration instead. Rather than use our Hermes illusion, let's think about what would benefit someone who is both mischievous and a messenger. Perhaps they can cloak themselves to become invisible. Alternatively, we could give Maple a semblance that lets them go without sleep for a long amount of time, allowing them to cross very long distances at a much faster pace than normal. Semblances can revolve around illusion, like Nora's, personality, like Yang's, or the character's skill set, like RWBY's. While you could choose a semblance that doesn't relate to any of these three things, it gives your OC more cohesion to do so. And that just about wraps up our session. Thank you for coming, and bye!